Warning. This podcast may contain spoilers from whatever TV show or movie is mentioned. Please listen at your own discretion. Welcome to Viewers Anonymous.
Yo, what's going on? I am Scoots Bronson.
And I am S. Foster.
That's right, you tuned into another episode of the Viewers Anonymous podcast where we give you our very own reviews and takes of movies and TV straight out of Hollywood. Brother man. It's been one hell of a week. You know what I'm saying? A lot has been going on. I don't know if you've been keeping up in the pod spaces lately, but it's been pod wars everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to, keep up with that shit. Spring break for us is up here in Ohio is, going on right now. So I was with my boys all week. Man, listen. It's some shit. But we gotta get into this. We gotta get into this right now. We've lost one of the greats in the film industry. Excuse me. He is not only just a great actor, but an activist. He has been around for a while, and it's only right that we properly do our due diligence and send our condolences, give our flowers to the great Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah, man. Sad news. He's a guy who, you know, you he's one of those guys where you hear about some of the things that he done, and we just realize like he's just a flat out good dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's
Mhm.
also one of those dudes who didn't really fit the Hollywood criteria. He just kind of beat it on his own drum, and I think that's the reason why, as far as like lead roles and like stuff like that, like a lot of his films didn't, as far as him being like a lead, didn't
Mhm.
really have like box office success and things like that.
Right.
But we were talking about him earlier, just in the fact of like when, first of all, when you see him, he always makes an impact.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's number one. But like, I felt like a lot of the roles that he done, don't it seem like they were like meaningful? Like it don't seem like he like
Yeah.
did a role just to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do you kind of feel the same way? I feel like a lot of his stuff, when you look at his IMDb, it was like his movies like had a purpose.
Yeah. Or if it wasn't just purpose, it was that like you can tell he handpicks his roles. He's
Yes.
not taking the road that's gonna make him or him look foolish, but not just foolish, just he's always trying to portray some type of positive image, um, as much as he possibly could. I mean, over 200 roles acting is crazy. We talk about the likes of Sam Jackson and the greats in that era, in that area. But 200 roles, on film and television. He was um, a actor, producer, director. He also was, like I said, he was a social activist. He was an educator, an author. I mean, he's done a lot of things. Um, he had 28 nominations for awards. 19 he won. He got an Oscar for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. What was that in? For Officer and a Gentleman in 1982. Um, Various Emmy awards. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been around. He's been doing this thing. Uh, and it just it's sad to find out that somebody so involved and so great didn't really get the love that they deserved as far as getting those main roles, getting those starting roles, and being the lead actor in movies and stuff like that. But I can tell you this though, he's not short of that shit in TV because he's been in some shit. He's been in a lot of different film roles. I mean, not film roles, television roles. being a lead. So once again, prayers, condolences to the family and friends, and rest in peace to Lou Gossett Jr.
Yes, sir. Rest in peace.
And so from there, man, we get into our favorite segment of the show. That is where, you know what I'm saying, we give you extra things to, go watch with, what I'm saying, what we cover in the show. You could look at this kind of like our trailers before the feature presentation. This is what we watching. You ready?
Yes, sir.
What
What
we
we
watching?
watching?
What we watching?
All right, my man, what you got, bro?
All right, man. So this is one of those situations where when there's like a movie that's monumental to what I'm saying, a certain group of people, and it's like one of those things where when you see like those let me see if you black type of things, and it's like
Yeah.
it, yeah, that's one of the movies that be in there. And the thing about it is, it's one of those situations like one of your situations where it's like you've seen bits and pieces, but you never start to finish. And so I
Right.
watched it start to finish, and the movie I'm talking about came out in 1997, Love Jones. Like
Oh,
it
okay.
just, yeah, it just occurred to me. I was like, yo, I've never seen it start to finish. Like I'm talking about like when I seen like the pieces of Love Jones back in regular cable days where
Hmm.
you would see it on. It's like, all right, you just catch it from somewhere. And
Hmm.
I was like, I've never seen it all the way through. So
We
man, I
watched
went
Love
back.
Jones in high school.
Yo, man, what damn black school you went to, man?
I'm just being honest with you. I'm gonna tell you.
yo,
I'm gonna tell you why.
yo, hold
I'm gonna
up,
tell you why.
hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. So y'all watched. Hold on, wait a minute, 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 wait a minute. Hold on, pause this. So
Yeah.
y'all watched Love Jones,
Yes.
but y'all didn't watch Gone with the Wind.
Fuck no.
Yo, what? What ghetto school you went to, man?
I went to public school, man. Listen, so let me tell you why. Let me tell you why Love Jones is a movie we watch, because Love Jones is about poetry.
I mean,
So
it is.
so we had this like moment in high school. I think it was like senior year. We had this moment in high school where I don't know if y'all ever did it, or if y'all like, because I know it was still going on around the time, but I don't know if y'all ever did this or had to participate in it. But in our English class, our English teacher, Miss Davis, she made us participate in the Martin Luther King National Poetry Contest.
Okay.
And so because that was something that because that was something that we were on at the time, like we were learning about like prose, we were learning about haikus, you know what I'm saying? Like we was into like the whole poetry thing at the time. And so we all submitted a poem and I got honorable mention. So in my honorable mention, me and like a bunch of other people, like we just got into this whole poetry thing. And I don't know if you remember around like 2006, 2007, like poetry slams was like started to become like a huge thing. So um Russell Simmons came out with Def Poetry Jam. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. So we watched that in school and we watched Love Jones.
Yo, that's
No
crazy.
bullshit, bro. I promise you. Yeah, but
That's
that was
wild.
that was why though, because it was like the whole poetry phase of our school lesson or whatever. So like that was her whole thing. She wanted us to get like really into it. So she felt like if we seen, you know what I'm saying, like the cool people do it, we'd be into it too. Which was funny because we actually did get into
That is hilarious, man.
it.
It's just wild to me. Now, I mean, okay, poetry, okay, I get it, but it's just
Mhm.
like, yo, like really, like I mean, dude, it took us like a whole week to watch Gone with the Wind because that shit is 3 hours and like 45 minutes. Like,
Facts.
but it
Facts.
was history, war, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's why we
Racism.
watched it. I mean, yeah, a lot of that. Because I'm telling you, it didn't really occur to me in school till, and you can make fun of me all you want. Because I watched Gone with the Wind like out of school,
Yeah.
and like it was just like, yo. And I'm gonna tell you what it is. My biggest issue
Mm-hmm.
with the reason why I had fucked with it in school was only because Scarlett O'Hara was fine as fuck. That was it. I was just
I
like,
can
yo,
respect that.
she got on my nerves. She was annoying as fuck.
What was the
But
lady who won the Oscar off that? Hattie McDaniels
Hattie, I think
or
it was,
Hattie Mae Daniels or something like that?
yeah, it was one. I think it was Hattie Mae. I think it was more Hattie Mae. Yeah, the
Yeah,
lady
she
that
won the
was
Oscar
the
for
maid.
playing Madden.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So yeah, like in like 1939 or some shit like that. Like
That's what I'm saying. That's
that
crazy,
shit.
man.
Yeah, that is crazy. But she did her thing though.
I mean, she got the Oscar.
She did her thing.
You
Yeah.
gotta, and at that time, getting Oscars,
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't even know if she was even there. She might not have even been
No, she
invited to that
definitely
shit.
wasn't there. I can tell you, in 1939, she was not there. She was not there. I can tell you that right now. Nigga, that's like they could hold a benefit for you, and you'd still have to enter the back door.
Oh yeah, that's what they did to Jesse Owens, man.
You see what I'm saying?
That's the class. It's the
And that
classic scene of
nigga, that nigga won gold medals. Nigga, he's a world-renowned athlete. So yeah, nah.
yo. Listen. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Race, but so this motherfucker they had like a they was they had a dinner for him.
Mhm.
His
Yeah,
name was outside and
he
everything.
had to go to the back.
My man walked up with his coach and his wife
Mm-hmm.
and tried to go in, and they was like, "Man, it's great to see you." Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, but
Still
you
gotta
gotta
go to
go
the
through the
back, my boy.
kitchen.
Yeah.
And the coach was like, "This place is honoring him." He's like, "Yeah, but this place still got rules, and you gotta go through the kitchen."
Oh yeah, you know I seen Race though. Come on, man, you went to O State.
Yeah, man, there you go,
What are
man.
you talking about? Yeah,
Man,
what are we
man,
doing,
what
man?
you watch, man? What you watch?
Hey, listen, I got a theory, bro. I got a wild theory, bro.
Oh
All of
shit,
the greatest athletes come from Ohio
that
or
theory's
are
wrong, but
in
okay.
Ohio in one way or the other. I'm just saying. But yo, so I watched the new Willy Wonka with Timothy Chalamet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was my that's the movie that I watched. Um it's interesting because it's a musical and um it's like him early on. Like he don't even got the Wonka factor yet. But you know what I'm saying? Like he's still like into making chocolates and all this other things. And, well, really mainly chocolates. But you know what I'm saying? He basically beefing with, you know what I'm saying, the three main chocolatiers. They got this whole crime ring with the chocolate and shit. It's a wild ass beginning for Willy Wonka. But it's very interesting. It's a very good movie. Timothy Chalamet do his thing. It's a lot of singing and dancing and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Um, just like Willy Wonka is, but it was a good movie. It was a pretty good movie. I was thoroughly impressed with that movie. And you know what I'm saying? The Oompa Loompas, man. It ain't a lot of them. It's only one in this movie. It's only one in this movie. But you when you see him, you understand why eventually the Oompa Loompas fuck with Willy Wonka. So yeah, it was a good movie though. I fuck with it heavy, man.
Okay.
So now that we got that out the way, man, listen, it's that time, man. You know what I'm saying? It's that time, man.
Look, hold on.
Yeah,
Before you start, man, I gotta say this, man.
yeah,
I gotta say this because I, for the people who don't know, like I said, I mentioned it on the last episode we did, right?
yeah.
And I told the people, I was like, look, I've done an episode on this on 28 Minutes or Less, right? So this is the first time where an episode was done on there, gonna be done on here, and like this is gonna be completely different. But like the excitement that I have and had for the Sopranos, right? Cause see,
Yeah,
the thing is, I'm on a pod by myself, hype.
right.
But now I can share it because it's like now that you've seen it
Yeah,
and I feel like from your reaction, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You feel it. You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying?
absolutely.
Because this shit, man, I've I told you before, like I watched this Sopranos movie. Damn movie. I watched this show 2 times, all 6 seasons
Hmm.
in the span of like 8 months. I was like so, but what I mean is, I finished it the first time after I watched The Many Saints of Newark. So I watched the prequel first, and then I watched the show, and it took me like less than 2 months to watch the whole thing.
Hmm.
Then I turned around again 6, 7, 8 months later and watched it again.
Hmm.
I was so into The Sopranos, but I was dreaming about Tony Soprano. My God,
That's
I'm
crazy.
talking about I was in this shit heavy, and like I've been so excited on doing this, man, because I wanted to be able to share this excitement with somebody.
Yeah.
So sorry, I had to get that out, man.
Now, do
But
you think? Hey, man, listen. I get it. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? No Drake pun there. Um. So this is. Let me see. When did the Sopranos start? 1999, right?
1999. Hey,
This
that's
is
another
around the
99 theory.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But this is around the time that HBO is killing the shows. You know what I'm saying? The Wire, Oz. Um, I'm trying to think what else. They had a bunch of like comedy shows around the time.
Yeah.
The 90s was real big for HBO and TV series. I think the Ali G show was out like around this time. It was a bunch of different things, and people were still like doing comedy. Like HBO was the place to go if you wanted to get like a stand-up special or anything else. So like this is HBO is like top dog. Like Showtime is cool, Cinemax is cool. They ain't merged yet, so Cinemax is cool. You know what I'm saying? You had other ones here and there. You had like stars popping in, but HBO was like at the top of the charts. Like you had to pay probably the most to get HBO when you had cable around this time. Cable was still a thing. You still had cable boxes. So excuse me. This is a very different time in television. And when you watch this show, you realize how different of a time this is, right? Because
Hmm.
what's funny is like when you go back and you see the cell phones or you hear the music and you know what I'm saying, it's like yo, this shit is throwback for sure. So in 1999 I think 11. Yeah, I'm like 11 going on 12. No, I'm 11. I'll be yeah.
Yeah. I was
So
14.
okay, so I wasn't watching the Sopranos like that. I can tell you that right now. I had no interest in the Sopranos whatsoever. But this is what people also have to realize. If you are listening to this podcast, you also have to realize that there was no social media except for MySpace. You know what
But
I'm saying?
MySpace, you did. But even MySpace didn't come out to like 2005 ish, 2004, somewhere around there.
Exactly. So, like, well, you might have had like Facebook, Black Planet, stuff like that, but it's not the Facebook of today. I can tell you that right now. It ain't the Facebook of today because I think that's when it was for college kids at the time.
Yeah, because when I first got Facebook, it was 2006, and that's when I first got my college email. Because you
Yeah.
had to have a
See,
college email to get it.
exactly. So in 1999, there is no social media. Like the internet just came out 3 years ago for everybody. So keep that in mind. You couldn't get on. It's so crazy to think about this because you couldn't get on the internet without, you know what I'm saying, using the phone. Basically,
Yeah,
your
dial
phone
up.
line was your internet line. Yep. Yeah, dial up. Like it was a very people were still using desktops. It wasn't really a lot of laptops being used for real. Like it was a different time. So to go back and see this, and you know what I'm saying, to see all of these people in such younger faces, you know what I'm saying, James Gandolfini, you know, looking, I mean, super young. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Michael and Paroli, like super young. It's a bunch of people, right? Um, and then but just to know that all of this is pretty much just about this family. And this is the dope thing about this show. This isn't about the mafia. This ain't about the shit going on in the mafia. None of that. That's really the side story of the
Yeah,
actual shit that's supposed to be going on. This movie is about. I mean, this. I keep saying movie. This show is literally about the Sopranos, the Soprano family, and the dad just so happens to be, you know what I'm saying, the crime boss of New Jersey, or a crime boss of New Jersey, because he ain't the actual crime boss. He's a crime boss of New Jersey. The mom is just, you know what I'm saying, the wife of a crime boss. And then you got two kids who are children of a crime boss. And they're all maneuvering around basically him. So when I watched this, you know what I'm saying, going into it fresh, never had really seen, you know what I'm saying, any of this shit before. I didn't know what to expect. And as I'm watching it, the more and more I'm watching it, I'm realizing, like, as the seasons go on, this shit ain't about the mafia, which it shows a lot of mafia shit, but that's not what it's about. It's really about um Tony Soprano and his family, which the first episode gives you a clear indicator that's really what it is, because it starts off with him in therapy.
yeah,
He's talking to his therapist, which is another crazy thing, because at that time people wasn't doing therapy. You only did therapy because people thought you was crazy. So nah, I
and from this show, people thought you was weak, and that's why he tried to hide it.
well, yeah, for him for sure, people was gonna think he was weak, because at the time, um, since, you know what I'm saying, they had a stigma attached to it.
Hmm.
It's a lot of shit in this show that the stigma really fucked people up. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But we'll get into that shit later on. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Vito. Uh, so you know what I'm saying, you watched this multiple times. You seen the movie. First and foremost, what excited you the most about this?
what excited me the most about it was, um, first of all, the whole, because I didn't really watch this until what, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So like we living in a different world now. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's like, and for this show to start off with him in therapy, it's like, damn, like a crime boss being in therapy, like that, like, and just the fact of like him having anxiety and shit, and
Mm-hmm.
and having his episodes and things. But I think that as far as a show, I personally think Tony Soprano is the most interesting character in a show that I've ever seen before.
Okay, tell me why, because
Because like there's so many dynamics in between him. He's he's very he's very like, okay. Tony Soprano is a lot of things. Like he's an asshole, but he's also caring at the same time.
mm-hmm.
Like he got a short temper, but you know what I'm saying. But he'll do like a nice deed, but then like it's it's just that he's really in a way sort of bipolar in a way, because like he can shift on you at any moment, and to the point where it's like you never know like what he's gonna do, when he's gonna flip out and all this type of shit. I just think that his character is so, and now I understand why he went through what he went through, because there was a situation where as far as real life James Gandolfini, where
Mm-hmm.
he had to be, you know what I'm saying, had to be sat down and hospitalized for a minute
Yeah.
because they said he was so, he literally thought he was Tony Soprano. Like
Mm-hmm.
he basically was method acting in real life, like
Yeah.
thinking that he's Tony Soprano. And I could see how that could happen. Like when you watch this and you can see how you know what I'm saying, how this role just kind of engulfed him. And you can see how when you play this person from 1999 to 2007, you can see how that, you know what I'm saying, how he could get so engulfed in it. And then to think that he dies in 2013, it's like, what, 5 years later?
Yep.
So it's like, I'm not saying they got anything that is related. I think it was some kind of illness. Not illness, but
it was a heart. It was some of his heart or something, wasn't it?
yeah, something. It was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think that he's just so interesting, man. And then like, this is another one of those situations where like I could not see anybody else playing Tony Soprano. Like I don't see anybody other than James Gandolfini really knocking this shit out the park. It's like it's hard for me to really put it in words on explaining why I feel that he's one of the most intriguing, characters that I've seen in a TV show, because with the way that this show goes, as far as like you said, like this is a family man who is also a crime boss, but this is what you got to understand about Tony Soprano is the fact that the people that he leaked. And I think that's something that's not talked about a lot. Because the thing with Tony that you realize, especially if you watch The Many Saints of Newark, because The Many Saints of Newark, like, it starts out Tony Soprano's like 8 or 9 or something like that. But then it goes, his son actually plays the teenage version of him, where he's like 15, 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
But what you realize is, and also from that show, from that movie, you understand why he is the way he is with Christopher. Because in the Many Saints of Newark, so you got the Sopranos and you got the Montesantis. Now there are the two families that run everything, and the person that Tony was the closest with, even over his dad, was his Uncle Dickie, and Uncle Dickie was Christopher's father.
Okay.
So he was super close with him. But the thing with Dickie though was Dickie, and even these two families, man, they're like they really fucked up families. And the thing with Christopher is there was a scene in the movie where Tony's dad first get out of jail because he got locked up. They talk about it in the show when they was at the poker game or whatever. So when he got locked up, he got 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So when he gets out, they throwing him a little party, and at the party, Dickie brought the baby down. Well, the mom brought it down, and Dickie started holding it, and then they get close to Tony, and Tony's trying to like, hey Christopher, try to hold him, and he cries. And then he was like, yo, I don't know why he does that. He always cries, when it comes to me. So this old lady sitting there, had to be somebody's grandma. And she was like, babies know. She was like, babies know there's something, about a person. They just got a sense about a person.
Right.
Then you understand like why he would always give Christopher so many chances. But at the same time, what that scene told me was Christopher knew at some point this dude's gonna do something to me. And as you can see,
he deserved it though.
He did. Because he was too always strung up on drugs and shit. Like Christopher fucked up a lot. But with the Uncle Dickie, I know you said you haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but once you watch it, you will understand why Tony gave him so many chances, because Dickie had to end up cutting him off because there was so much tragedy in Dickie's life. Like basically that situation where everybody around you, everybody you care about dies. Which
is very interesting because that's the whole premise of season 6.
Exactly. And so he's like, he told Dickie's uncle ended up telling him, the people that you care about, you just basically need to distance yourself. And so Tony, he distanced himself from Tony, and it fucking crushed him. And that whole relationship with Tony and Christopher that we see, you know what I'm saying, went through so many phases. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm digressing. I know I'm doing a lot of talking. But one last thing. So when it comes to Tony jumping people, the thing is, like I said, we see like Silvio, uh, 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 Paulie, you know what I'm saying, Pussy. All of these dudes are grown, right? So, and the main person, Junior. This is the thing about Junior, dude. Junior is the oldest soprano,
Right.
but Tony's father was the man.
Yeah, he
Over his big brother.
Yeah.
Right? So then you come into the show where Tony's the boss. So these dudes that looked at him as a snotty nose is taking, you know what I'm saying, taking orders from him.
But that's
even
the game.
Junior.
That's the game. See, okay, so listen, this is what I also find interesting about this show, is that it really kind of gives you a real insight into like mafia, right? And at the end of the day, like mafia gangs, all that shit, all of that shit is the same thing, right? Like imagine being a Hoover Crip and you 45 and the nigga you gotta take orders from is 30. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you gotta do it. That's the game, right? And so especially with this show, like what's interesting is in the beginning they talked a lot about the families and you know what I'm saying, bringing people in and you know making people like Christopher kept trying to force being a made man. Like, yo, when am I going? You know, like when am I going to be made? Like, what's up? And I think that because Tony seemed to be super level headed, he seemed to have already put in enough work and do, you know what I'm saying, everything that he was supposed to do. He fit the criteria to be the top dog, right? To be the man, to be the boss. And you could tell, like, when shit went down, you didn't want him to get involved. You would rather somebody else do the shit because it seemed like with his temper and you know what I'm saying, his anger, like if he got his hands on you, you was fucked up. You know what I mean? Even with the way that they talk about Tony when he not there, or the way they react to him when he get mad, you can tell like he done did some shit. He done did some damage. He done put in some work. And so like when you have that type of respect for him, or when you see them have that type of respect for him, you understand why he's up there, right? Like when you seen Junior say little shit here and there, like Chris was talking crazy to Junior. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody gave a fuck. Like niggas was a lot of moments in this show where niggas was talking back to like the captains and shit like that, and you was like, okay, I get why Tony is at the top now. Because when Tony said some shit, niggas was like, all right, and they got to it. You know what I'm saying? The one, what's the one dude's name that was trying to go to Florida?
Who was trying to go to Florida?
What was his name? He was trying to go to Florida. Him and his wife was trying. He was trying to retire. He asked Tony.
Oh, yeah.
And Tony was like, "I think about it." And so him and his wife was, you know, I think like his grandma died or his mom died or somebody, and he had ended up getting like an inheritance of $2 million. So he like, shit, I got a nice little chunk of change. I want to, you know what I'm saying, take me and my family, get him out of here. Remember, his son was on drugs, so he trying to get them away from everything that was going on around there. And I think at this time, Christopher was made. I think by this time, Christopher had became made already. And so Christopher is sitting there, dude went to go buy lunch for everybody. And he like, yeah, I heard about, I'm saying, the thing in Florida, da da da. He was like, go do this, and then I talked to Tony and put in a good word for you. But like even then, you could tell dude was like 15 years older than Christopher. But even when Christopher had said something, he was like, yeah, I gotta run it by my captain. And he was like, what the fuck you mean? And I'm a captain too? And he was like, yeah, I got it. So it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like if Tony was to be like, hey, go do such and such and such, it wouldn't be no issue. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think that's a very interesting concept that you bring up. The fact that he's so much younger and he's jumped so many people. And then to be honest with you, man, with Junior, he never was gonna get that spot.
But this is the thing, you haven't seen many Saints in Newark though, and you would
I
understand.
haven't. I'm just talking about just from the show
Yeah, just
aspect.
from what you're seeing here, like
Yeah,
it explains it a little more.
he should never. First and foremost, he was already 90 when the show started. He was already old as fuck.
He was not.
Like a lot of them niggas, like no, seriously, a lot of them niggas was just old as fuck. And to me, I think like especially when you're talking about something like that, like yeah, give it to a younger person. Don't give it to one of these old head motherfuckers who been around this shit for the longest and all this other shit. And then when they finally get it, they fucking shit up. They still trying to keep shit a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know how to modernize nothing. Like put it like this. With the what was the one project? Damn, how you say that shit? Oh my god, the Gaffendale, fuck, how do you say that shit? It's whatever the big project was that they was all talking about with the construction and all that.
Mhm.
They would have never respected Junior on that situation. They would
Well,
have overcut him every chance they got.
yeah, but the problem is nobody never respected Junior. See, that's the thing with Junior. Like, there's a scene in Many Saints in Newark where Junior went to go pick up his brother when he got out of jail, right? So they turned it down that block. And as you can see from the show, which I mean, this is just one of those unfortunate things when you watch a lot of the mafia movies, they never fuck with black people.
Never.
So they're going down the road
They call them
and
goombas or fucking mouillons or fucking eggplants and shit like that.
yeah. So they look. My man looked to the right. And he's like, "Yo, that's such and such house." And he was like, "Man," he was like, "When it like niggas moving to the neighborhood?" And he was like, "Oh, it's a new time." Junior's like, "It's a new time now." And he's like, he look at Junior. How the fuck did you let this happen on my block? He was like expecting Junior to like not let no black people move in the neighborhood. You run everything, but like Junior always never fulfilled the shoes that he was supposed to quote
But
unquote fill.
that's what I'm saying. Perfect example, right? Junior is in Tony's position in this show. Okay. The episode where Tony gets shot and he's in the hospital. He comes out of the coma or whatever, and um he was talking to who was that? I think it was Paulie. Him and Paulie was walking. No, not Paulie. Bobby was there. Bobby was there first, and he was talking to whoever Tretch was playing at the time, and Tretch was like Tretch was supposed to be like
When he
this
wanted to shoot him in
upcoming,
the
huh?
ass.
You said what?
When he wanted to get shot, he shot him in his ass.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like they do that scene or whatever, and then Polly go up there to get him, and then they walking down or whatever, and I think this was around the time Polly found out that his mom ain't his mom, it's his aunt, and his aunt was his mom, and she had just died or whatever. So yeah, okay, so that time. So remember they were sitting in the hallway, and he was talking to one of the older dudes, and the older dude was like, I got a sinus infection, blah blah blah. And they was rolling the one dude, I forgot what his name was, but dude from what's that group called? Damn, I can't think of the group now. He got it. He whatever. So basically, he was talking to Tony, and he was like, "Yo," Tony was like, "Yo, thanks for giving my son that CD." Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like Junior wouldn't have that wouldn't have been a conversation that Junior would have had with him. You know what I'm saying? Like Junior would have probably been on some snob shit and I don't fuck with niggas type shit. But because Tony is, you know what I'm saying, Tony understand what's going on out here. Like Tony able to move around out here. He gets it. Like, yo, shit changes. So sometimes you gotta, like you said, he has this duality about him to where nigga, sometimes you gotta mix in with other people that you don't normally mix in with to get the job done. And I think that's what makes him such an interesting character is the fact that he's willing to go as far as it takes to get the job done to where nobody else is going to do that. And that's what makes him such a great crime boss. Like that's what makes him, you know what I'm saying, like that guy is the fact that, yeah, you know, I can show you, you know what I'm saying, a kinder, gentler side, or I can really beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, but I think Junior is a person who I think the fate that ended up happening to him was kind of what do you call it? Karma in a way, because
Mm-hmm.
Junior, first of all, Junior was a hater, but I understand to a certain degree why he was because he was jumped so basically two times. You know, he was jumped by his little brother, and then he was jumped by his nephew.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's a shiesty dude. I didn't want to reveal this. I mean, but you're a type person, you'll watch it anyway. If you want to watch something, you'll watch it.
Yeah.
Like when you see Many Saints of Newark, you understand and you get the type of person that Junior is. So they went to they was at a funeral and it's raining. Junior go to walk out, slip on the steps and hurt his back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dickie like laughing his ass off, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's pissed off. Now it's not just the fact that he slipped on his own accord,
Right.
but he's pissed because Dickie's laughing at him.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know what I'm saying? He got this big ass back brace thing on. So he's at his girl house, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to smash. He's on top, but with this back brace on, his back hurt and he
And he
can't.
can't, yeah, it's
So
tough on
she was like, lay down, let me get on top. So she tried to get on top, still painful. You know what this motherfucker says? Man, that fucking Dickie. And she's like, Dickie didn't make you fall. And he's like, well, he got a good laugh out of it. And she was like, you just making an excuse not to fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward. Dickie, I ain't gonna set the whole scene up, but Dickie gets shot. Phone call is made. Job is done. Go to the other line.
It's Junior.
Fucking Junior.
So Junior got Dickie killed
Yes.
and Tony knew.
And it's like,
Wait
are
a
you
minute.
fucking
No, I gotta watch this now because this shit is crazy. Okay, so Junior get Dickie killed, right?
Yes.
Now this whole time, Christopher been trying to figure out who killed his fucking dad. And in that
Yes.
one episode, Tony was trying to do something nice for Christopher and was like, yo, this might be the dude that killed. He was real
Yeah, he
vague
put it
about
on
it.
his cop.
Yeah, he was real vague about it, but he was trying to, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to basically let him know, like, you know, your dad, you know, he was a good guy, like, and then this cop, you know, he just, and so basically all that shit was made up.
Yes. All that
That's
shit was made up.
fucking crazy.
All that shit was made up. So
Another thing about this shit, bro, real quick, I'm sorry, another thing, because you brought this cop up. All of these niggas was rats.
yeah, because Tony met with the one FBI dude all the fucking time.
That's different. No, that's different. That's different. I understand why he met with him. Because nigga, you got to keep them niggas on your tab. Like that's the whole purpose.
Yeah, that's the only way you can keep a criminal enterprise going.
Because their whole thing was you give me information about the other families, I give you information that you need. So that I understand. That's just smart business. No, I'm talking about these niggas was rats. I forgot who the one nigga was that they
Pussy, he was killed on the boat.
He deserved it.
The
The one nigga
Vito,
got in the cop's car.
Yeah,
And they
but
went to
no.
his funeral and they didn't know. Because remember, they were talking about how great of a guy he was and how cool he was. And he was, you know, he was such a stand-up guy and all that shit. This nigga died in the car of the cop while he was giving them the tape of Tony.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. She was so salty, bro. He was like, yeah, she said, if you can't understand this shit, I even testify. Next thing you know, this nigga croak over. She like, man, fuck. Like, I'm like, hey, that shit was wild, bro.
Yeah, that was wild, and like even Ariana, who I hated to lead the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
But
she had to get up out of there, bro.
yeah, because she was
She
just
wasn't no
too
good for
too
Christopher, no
reckless.
way.
She wasn't. They was just a toxic couple. Like
Yeah.
throughout the whole show, they was fucking toxic together. Um, and all he did was beat her ass. But her mom was always right. Like her mom been trying to tell her ass to leave Christopher alone forever, and she just could
Exactly.
not leave him. And then her ass gonna go be friends with not one but two fucking FBI agents. Like, it's like what the fuck?
The wild shit though, bro, is the fact that these niggas had opportunities to really like bring some shit to the table, like with Christopher. I think he was so caught up in himself, and he was so worried about like trying to be the man and trying to put this image out that he didn't even realize the shit that he could have brought to the table and how much money he could have brought to the table for them if he'd have just took that Hollywood shit and got them in that. He tried to
Yeah,
toward the end,
yeah, with
but
Cleaver.
yeah, but that it was too late by then. Like when he first was doing it, like when John Favreau was in there, him and John Favreau and all that, like yo, that was they way in like to some real money.
Yeah, because at that time, like, you know what I'm saying, Goodfellas had already came out, Casino had already
Exactly.
came out. These
Exactly.
movies are blockbuster movies and like these stories. Cause like
Mm-hmm.
the thing about Tony's life is a movie. You know what
Literally.
I'm saying? And Christopher knew that. And then, you know what I'm saying, you could see, oh, what's her name? She got pissed off, Carmela, because there was a scene where, you know what I'm saying, Tony was with this other girl, and it was literally exactly the way that shit played out. And she
Yeah.
saw it and she knew it.
Yeah.
And Tony was like, "Oh man, it's just a movie." And she's like, "Nah, motherfucker. Like I know that one guy is you, and I know you got." And that's the one thing about like how these women have to just basically accept the fact of like, yo, like you know what I mean. He's gonna have like his girlfriend. Like all these mafia dudes got like the girlfriend, and
Nah. Cause this is the thing, right? Tony had a nice ass setup, man. He had a down ass girl that knew everything that was going on, didn't give a fuck about none of that shit. She was with it. He had two. Now I will say this: his kids was fucking pricks. He had two prick ass kids. Meadow in them early seasons, man, I hated her character, bro. Her character wasn't shit. Her and Anthony switched roles somehow. I don't know how they did that, pull that off, but that was genius. But yeah, she was an asshole in the like first couple seasons, bro. When
yeah,
they fucked up her grandma's house, oh my god, bro. I'm like, why the fuck would you throw a party there? First and foremost, this is the thing. You have to understand who you are. You Tony Soprano's daughter.
yes,
And it ain't no, oh, she didn't know type shit. Because everywhere you go, niggas know that you're Tony Soprano's fucking daughter, bro. Like,
exactly.
come on, man. You just out here wilding. Like, nigga, if the fucking cops come and see you and then your dad pop up, you should know what the fuck is going on. Because everybody
Exactly.
else is going to
And
jail. You are going home.
but I think she ended up, and I think that's why they switched because
Yeah.
she ended up getting the understanding of knowing, oh, now I understand what and who my dad is. And then AJ, all of a sudden, he started getting fucking depressed.
Identity crisis.
Well, what it is,
Identity crisis.
no, what fucked him up was when he was dating the fucking Latino girl and she broke his heart. That's when that shit switched. That's when
Nah, bro.
AJ,
That nigga always had an identity crisis, bro.
he did, but
Cause remember when he was younger and they was at the school or whatever, and he had got into the fight, and then after that he just kept constantly getting in trouble. So they was about to send him to the military school. And once he got to the military school, he seen himself in the uniform. He didn't want to leave. Nigga just start crying.
Well, I mean, Anthony was a crier. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like the
he
nigga was, the nigga had an identity crisis, bro. And then I think
that
as he got older, especially like him not being a part of what was going on, you know what I'm saying? I think that was
yeah
a huge thing too. Because remember when Tony had got shot, he had he has got off the elevator with Meadow and Christopher and I think it was Bobby. They stopped him in the hallway and was like, "Yo, what the fuck is you doing trying to buy a fucking gun?" As if nobody's gonna know who the fuck you are and what you're doing. Like nigga, you literally would have to go to like fucking Indiana to go buy a gun and nobody know. Like nigga,
yeah
anywhere in that area, everybody's gonna know who the fuck you are, bro. You can't go to Philly and do it. You can't go to New York and do it. You can't go to Connecticut and do it. You can't go to none of these places. You literally got to go somewhere else, bro, because everybody knows who you are. And they like, yo, what the fuck is that? Then he get in there and get mad, talk about, y'all want me to bring coats and do all this other shit, but when it comes to the big shit, y'all want me to do nothing. What the fuck are you gonna do? You gonna go kill Uncle Junior? What are you talking about?
yeah yeah. I see what you're saying, and I think what pissed Tony off the most
Mm-hmm.
was just the fact of like I think he looked at who his dad was and the boss that he became. He's looking at AJ like, oh well, this is going to be the person to take this shit over when I can't do it anymore. And he
I
looked at
don't I
him,
don't think so.
dude. I think he looked at him and was like, yo, how the fuck can this be my offspring?
No, I think that Tony looked at AJ and wanted him far away from that shit as possible. And I think
I
that's
think he
why
wanted Meadow far away from it as possible.
her too. But I think he also wanted AJ as far away from it as possible. Because remember, when he had got into the fight, he got expelled or suspended or something like that. And Tony was like, "Yo, like, what the fuck are you doing? You gonna miss the big game? You fucking up your football career." Like he was trying to get him into everything else except in, you know what I'm saying, like everything away from that lifestyle. And I was like, "Yo, that's you could tell like he didn't want them involved in that shit at all." Well, yeah, nah, I can't really necessarily say Meadow either because every boyfriend Meadow seemed to had something to do with their lifestyle.
Well, except the one that she met in college.
What was that? That was the
That was
last
the
one when
Yeah,
she
that
got a
was the
haircut.
last one. Yeah, that was the one where
Yeah,
Tony really didn't like that dude.
because his dad
But
was the lawyer. I mean, no, he was supposed to be like a lawyer or something, right?
I think yeah, because I think that's when she switched up. Because remember, she wanted to go to med school, and then she
Mm-hmm.
switched up to the law shit. And I think it was because the dude was on the law shit too.
Yeah.
So yeah, she had switched up. But also, I think the football thing with AJ is the fact of like Tony went through the same shit where he played
Mm-hmm.
football in fucking high school and shit. I think he just kind of wanted, what I'm saying, to live that dream through him.
Yeah.
But AJ just wasn't really built that way. All I mean is like, I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that I think he still looked at him like, damn, like this is my offspring, because AJ was so, and I think that that's that whole thing of like, this isn't always the case, but when you look at some of these athletes, we're starting to see a lot of juniors and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that because we're at that age now where we've seen the fathers play
Yeah.
or the uncles or whatever, and now we're seeing the sons or the nephews or whatever
Mm-hmm.
play. But like, it ain't always the case. Like these
Right.
motherfuckers be having like, this is the thing. I don't think people be understand. Like some of these NBA and NFL players be having 5, 6, 7, 8 kids and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You only be hearing about one or two that be
Well,
kind of,
yeah, we seen Michael Jordan's kids. We know how that goes.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I think what it is when once that first person, a lot of the time they were hungry, and it was like, yo, I got to get out. They get out, they break through, and now your kids is living this life and
That you
this
didn't.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're softening them, but you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all living in this big ass house. You got the pool in the back and all this type shit. And everywhere they go, they protect it.
Right.
So they're just kind of like, all right, well, whatever. When you were coming up, you had to put work in. As far as Tony had to put work in.
Literally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To become the boss that he is. And now you got this kid, and it's like, in your eyes, he's pampered. He's got everything, and all this type of shit. And you don't understand with the things that where this money has taken you, your kids, that hunger's not there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because there ain't no need for it to be there.
Yeah, you look at Marcus Jordan, it's like, fuck, you gotta work hard for it. You know what I mean? It's like, I got everything.
Yeah,
you know what
I've never had to scrape a couple dollars up just to get some Jordans. I get them for free.
Yeah, exactly. Now, like I say, sometimes we have seen where the shit flips. You know what I'm saying? Where you have, I would say that Klay Thompson was better than Michael Thompson. But the crazy thing with them, the crazy thing about that is his brother's a Major League Baseball player.
I mean,
but then
shit,
look at
Steph. Look at
Dell Curry.
that's
I was getting there. Steph is fucking superior over his fucking dad.
Yeah, and
well, I think his brother's probably right there with him. I think Dale and Seth is kind of like right there. I think they kind of.
Oh, you saying Dale and Seth? Okay,
yeah. Seth and Dale.
And what was crazy about that was Seth was the man in college, bro. That nigga was at Duke ball. No, he was at Duke balling.
Well, he went to junior college first.
No,
either junior college or he was at a small school.
When he was at Duke, he was going crazy.
Yeah.
And remember, Steph was at Davidson, like nobody was knowing who this nigga was for real.
Yeah. And then you look at, Kyrie Irving. Like Kyrie Irving dad played overseas and shit. He never made it. But made it to the NFL. I mean, NBA.
Yeah.
And that Kyrie's a fucking.
Though. That nigga uncle was, you know what I'm saying, a star too, though.
Yeah. So, and I just think that a lot now, like I say, there are people who break through. Those are people who broke through. But there are some cases where it's like, it's like this money have put you in this place of where it's like, another family. I don't know why I didn't think of them. Arch Manning went to the league. Made a lot of money. Eli and Peyton was pampered. But you know what? They put the work in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they both of them end up being better than their dad. So, and I think Tony kind of looked at AJ and was thinking like, well, whether it's football because he wasn't able to make it in football or whether it's because I do think that you do have a point. Maybe he didn't necessarily want him in a life, but I think that he wanted a certain type of masculinity out of AJ that AJ didn't have.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. He definitely wanted them to be a certain way. But at the end of the day, though, you can't really blame AJ for the way he was because Tony wasn't never really around like that.
Yeah. Because Tony's always, either at bada bing,
move, or he out fucking on some woman, or you know what I'm saying, all that weird shit. Like, speaking of, bro, this nigga is in the Hall of Fame for side chicks.
Yo, let me tell you something. The one that had the mental issues.
Yeah. He had, they was bad though. He did not.
Hey, bro.
He ain't had no regular side. Listen, this is the thing though, bro. Like this nigga wife was mid. She was so mid. I get it. Carmelo was mid as fuck, bro.
Man, but you gotta understand though, man. He been with Carmelo since he was like 17. So.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I get it. But nigga, she was plain old crackers. This nigga wanted some Ritz. My nigga wanted some Ritz. She just plain old square ass saltine crackers. That's it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
She had her moments where she, you know what I'm saying, she looked decent. But nah, like what's old boy Artie, his wife?
Yeah, see, Artie go
So
back.
good.
Artie, the younger Artie's in the Mid Saints and Newark
Yeah,
because they've been friends since high school and shit.
yeah,
But like, yeah, like Tony, do like when you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? He had the one chick that barely spoke English. She was the down one that had the cousin with the one leg joint.
yeah. The one that barely spoke English, but ooh wee,
Yeah, yeah, and and Tony ended up, you know what I'm saying, knocking down the one legged cousin
which
or
was
aunt
crazy.
or whatever she was.
That was his cousin. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Because
man, fuck that shit.
when he went to her house to see who she was, why she was telling and shit, and she came out with the crutches. I'm like, fam, come on, bro. That's wild.
Yo, no, what's wild is somebody stole a leg. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
she.
that's some crazy shit, bro. That nigga was a fucking horn dog, man. But okay, because we gotta get into this, bro.
Okay.
The coma situation.
Oh man, the coma situation was hard as fuck. That was like one of my favorite seasons.
Really, I
Yes,
hated that shit.
that shit was dope as fuck. Because
They
to
dragged it out
me,
too long, bro. They
I,
dragged that
I
shit out
see
too
I
long.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But this is the reason why I fuck with it. It's
Mm-hmm.
because I have this thing and I don't know if you ever heard this, but I did an episode years ago on 28 Minutes or Less called Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And where like I got this thing of like, you know, dreams and reincarnation and like it's just a lot of thoughts about just dreams, like where dreams
Mm-hmm.
coming from, meaning of dreams and all types of shit like that. And so like when Tony was in the coma, you know what I'm saying? Like he was himself, but he was somebody else in his
Kevin
coma.
Finley.
Where he had this fucking briefcase and he didn't want to let go of the briefcase and all that type of shit. And then the one crazy part, I ain't gonna drag it out, but like what really fascinated me about it was just that part of like I'm Tony, but everybody thinks I'm this guy, and they're like, "Yo, you look just like this guy." And then
He didn't look like.
he ran into his cousin Tony,
Yeah,
who
but he didn't
played
look like
by
it.
Yeah, you stupid. Uh, so Steve Buscemi played Tony, his cousin.
Shout out to
Um,
Steve Buscemi too, because I didn't know that he was a producer on this.
yeah,
Shout out to him.
Steve's that guy. And
Buscemi got some
so
hits under his belt, bro.
yeah, and then that's another thing of like, family members killing family members and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it go back to the many saints. But
Right.
anyway, so he's going to this party, and now maybe you're talking about the other parts that drag. I don't know which part you're saying dragging out, but like
No,
I
I'm
just
talking
thought
about
it was interesting.
the whole part of him being in the coma. They just dragged it out.
So I thought it was interesting how they end up doing it, where he went to this party that he was supposed to go to, and he sees his cousin, and he's asking him for the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Soprano do not want to let go of this briefcase.
Because he kept saying something don't feel right.
Yeah, and so he knew if he gave him the suitcase and
It was
walked
over.
through that door,
Yeah, that
he
shit was
he was
over.
gonna die.
No, let me tell you what was so interesting about that. Because at first, because remember they kept showing you a visual of the doorway, right? And the visual of the doorway was so interesting to me because he seen somebody walk into the doorway, and we never see who that person is. We just see a woman walk through the doorway, and her walking through that doorway. He goes up, he's about to walk through, and then he hears a young Meadows voice, which I thought was very interesting because Meadow, of course, was
Grown.
saying everything or whatever. Like he could, so it was letting you know he could still hear everybody that was out there. He just, of course, Sam was unconscious at the moment. So he hears Meadows' voice and he stopped and he like, yo, what the fuck was that? And he like, he don't even acknowledge it. And then he hears it again, but this time when they show the doorway, if you really pay attention, it started brightening up like the white light. And I think that's what was definitely keeping him away from it. That's why he was like, "Yeah, nah, I don't think I'm gonna do that." And then that's when he ends up coming to.
Yeah, waking up.
Yeah, but I mean, I just feel like that could have been like him being in a coma. That could have been shorter because like him, the dream he was having or whatever, it had no connection to nothing. Like,
No,
what was the
it,
point of
it
him being Kevin Finnerty in that dream?
I think that it was just messaging like from the other side in a way of like I mean obviously like I mean I guess I should have did some research on it. Of like, I'm pretty sure there were people who came back from comas and kind of told people like, "Yo, like in my coma, I was dreaming this," or whatever the case may be. Or maybe some people that went in comas felt like they was on the other side, or whatever the case may be. But like, I just think that the route that they took, I just thought that it was interesting because it's
But
like it's you, but you're not you.
it didn't make sense though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could understand if it was connected to something, or he when he woke up like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he changed his ways. It just to me, I feel like they didn't have nothing to put in these episodes, and so they just made that shit filler.
I
Because
I,
the
I
because you got to remember what's going on around this situation too. So he's in the coma, right?
Yeah, because Junior shot him.
Junior shot him. So now
Okay,
Junior, go
okay.
ahead.
Papa, accident? Do you think it was dementia? Accident on purpose? What?
Okay, so at first I didn't think so. At first I'm like, this was. Oh, I'm sorry. At first I did think so, with him getting shot on purpose. That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
say. At first I think that he was trying to shoot him on purpose because he like, yo, I don't fuck with, like, you could tell Junior never fucked with Tony.
Yeah.
This was an opportunity for him to fuck with Tony, right? And the whole time Tony was there, Tony kept like, he'd say something. He was like, "Who's there?" And he'd be like, "Pussy Malaga" or something. And then he'd be like, "Yeah, Artie, something. Yeah, it's me. I'll be down here waiting on you." So he was fucking with him the whole time. So when he came down there and shot him, I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, nigga, he gonna use this as an excuse. But the more and more you watch the season, you realize, oh no, this motherfucker really going through dementia. Because
Yeah.
when Janice came up there, he was talking to Janice, and Janice had mentioned, the baby that she had, and he called the baby Janice.
Yeah. And talking
You
about
know what I'm
how she
saying?
turned the stove on and
Yeah,
and
put
you
it
know
out with
all
the
that
wet
other shit.
rag.
Yeah.
So nah, at first I was like, yo, he tried to get rid of this nigga. But then I thought about it the more and more I watched it. I'm like, oh nah, like he really didn't know that nigga that was his nephew. Because remember when Tony came there, he talked to him or whatever. He was asking him about the stash, and then he was like, "You don't even have no idea what the fuck I'm saying, do you?" He was
Yeah.
just like, "Nah,"
Yeah.
and then he was like, he said the quote or whatever, and then he was like, "We was a part of that." He was like, "Yeah, you and my dad, y'all ran New Jersey." He was like, "Oh," he was like, "That's good." So yeah, you could tell that he was just out of it. It was his time to go anyway. He shouldn't have been a part of it no way. He's too fucking old to begin with. He was already, like I said, he was already 90 years old when this shit started. So I can imagine, you know what I'm saying, how worse and worse he got as time went on.
Yeah.
Um,
But back to the coma.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't have no connection to any of the shit that was either happening or had happened, right? So Junior get caught, he go to jail, he get locked up. Paulie and who was that? Vito, Paulie and Vito,
Civio. Civio.
Silvio and Vito had ended up basically running the play, and with the what was it? It was Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, one of them, and got their money. So now they got like 1 million or something, just, you know what I'm saying, on the cut. And then Bobby is going through something. Um, what's his name? Hold on. No, Silvio was leading everything at the time. He was the next man up.
Yeah.
And it was Paulie and Vito. Remember, because Vito gave Paulie the information, and they went to the place to go. I think him and it wasn't Bobby or somebody else, but him and so they went to go get the money from them.
So this is
Because
before they.
remember, he
So
he
this is
kicked
before
he
Vito
kicked
took off and they knew that he was gay. Before he got caught. You know what I'm saying?
yeah
Giving
yeah.
dome in the
The
parking
Vito
lot.
got caught later on,
Okay. Yeah.
but remember in the hospital when Finn came back, Phineas when he came back, remember Vito was hitting on him.
That's right.
He
That's
started
right.
rubbing his arm when Meadow was coming to get him. So, anyway, Silvio was leading everything. He ended up having an asthma attack and being taken to the hospital. So now he down, and that's when Vito was like, "Yo, this is my chance to be the next man up, just in case don't none of them take it." So he started trying to plant seeds and shit in everybody's ear. And then when Tony finally came to, remember Silvio was like, "Fuck." And then it was a situation with AJ. He was going through whatever he was going through while he was there. It was just a bunch of shit going on, and this shit didn't have like no connection to nothing.
I see what you're saying,
Yeah,
but I think that so in this point, like I say, this is early mid 2000s,
yeah.
and I think that when it comes to comas, I think what they was trying to do was, you know what I'm saying, enter a lane of like I've never seen anything in a movie or a show where I've seen movies or a show where somebody was in a coma, but they
Mm-hmm.
never like we kind of went over like what maybe they were experiencing during that coma.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
I
it's
think
filler.
that's why I thought that was interesting because the fact of we never get the other side. We
Mm-hmm.
never get all we get is the person laying in the bed just
Right.
basically dreaming. But
I
I
feel
think
like it
with
would have been better if they would have just did that.
see, I think not. I think that I understand your feel of point, but I just think that maybe that's just us having different interests because I think that it's because I just got this. I don't know what it is, man. It's just I always feel like it's something. There's a reason why, like either some dreams stick with you
Right.
or you know and things like that, and like shit like that interests me, and
But
I don't know why.
but
It's just
but I'm saying like did you maybe I missed it? Did they bring it back up at any point in time or
Tony he brought it up to I can't remember exactly who he brought it up to,
mhm.
but it might have been his therapist. I
Yeah,
can't
that's what I'm saying. Like,
remember.
did he speak about it or
No,
something?
no,
Because
no.
I
Yeah,
totally meant that's what I'm saying. Like to me, I just felt like there was no point in even doing that because like what the fuck did that have to do with anything in the show?
no. He brought it up to somebody. I can't
Right.
remember exactly. It might have been Paulie
Mm-hmm.
where he was saying something about yo. If I would have gave them the briefcase, it would have been over.
Mm-hmm.
That he felt that he would have died, but he did bring it to somebody.
Yeah.
He did bring it up. But what I want to get to, because we you know what I'm saying, we over an hour in,
Mm-hmm.
um, we gotta get to, you know what I'm saying? So they get to the war, you know what I'm saying, the end part of the second part of season six. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so they in a war with Phil and all this type shit. So they hiding out and everything. But
Dirt bag.
the whole war part goes down, but we gotta get into the ending because there's a lot of people feel away. Now, before I get there, I should have looked it up, but if I'm not mistaken, that booth that Tony, AJ, and Camilla was sitting in, it
Mm-hmm.
sold on like eBay or some fucking shit for like $58,000 or some fucking shit, like something stupid as fuck.
The
So
wait,
somebody just got
how
that
you?
booth just sitting in a fucking living room
Oh,
or
okay,
whatever the
never
fuck
mind.
ever.
You talking about the prop? Okay, I was about to say like, who the fuck
Yeah,
is selling booze in a restaurant?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy. But go ahead,
yeah.
I'm
They
sorry.
took that booth out of the restaurant and they fucking
Mm-hmm.
sold it on something, and
That's
somebody
fire.
bought
I ain't
that
mad at
shit.
that.
That's stupid.
That's just like
Um,
the people who that's just like the people who was looking for the restaurant and
Pulp Fiction.
In fucking oh my god, why am I blanking today? Yeah, Pulp Fiction. They
Okay,
thought it was a
yeah.
real restaurant and they was looking for that shit.
But
Yeah,
so
okay,
if anybody, yeah, so if anybody ever seen this, the Tony gets there, gets to the restaurant, he's sitting there. Camilla comes in,
mhm.
then
No, he met
AJ comes.
Carmela there, remember?
No, no, no. Tony got there first.
I
Tony was there
thought no,
first.
because remember they was talking, and then he was like, that's because he went to go see Junior.
Yeah, he went to see Junior. Then when he got there, he was there by himself.
Oh, so he was
Tony
there
sat there
first.
by himself. Remember, he
Okay.
played the song "Don't Stop Believing"
Yep.
by Journey.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there. Camilla comes in. People coming in, and then this is the thing: the suspicious guy, came
Mhm.
in right in front of AJ, but he noticed AJ. He didn't really notice the guy.
The dude, right?
So the dude goes sits down at the bar. Then they bring out the onion rings. Now while they sitting there, non-parking ass Mello is out there struggling in the Lexus. She can't parallel park to save her life.
Shit, man.
And so she's out there forever trying to fucking park the damn car.
Mm-hmm.
So then once she finally gets it in there after like 7 tries, so she goes and she's running across the street. Now, the guy that walked in front of AJ,
Goes to the bathroom.
he goes to the bathroom. Now Tony kind of peeks at him, but kind of brushes it off.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear the door open, and the door is Mello coming through the restaurant,
Right.
and then it's
Screen
total
go black.
blackness for like 10 seconds, and then the end credits come.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the season, the season finale for The Sopranos ending that way? After now, I should have let this up a little better. I just butchered this. The war was supposedly over, but somebody got the drop on Phil at a fucking gas station. Kill Phil, and then wife gets out the car and left the bitch in drive.
Run his fucking face over, bro.
Yeah. Black dudes just looking there like, oh, and then the one black dude threw up.
Crazy.
So then all that happens, and then, like I said, screen goes black. For it to end the way it ends, because obviously they left it open to the public to make their observation on what happens. So first, I want to hear your thoughts on the ending that way, and then I want to hear what you think happened.
I mean, that's ending it that way to me. It once again, it didn't make. That's what I'm saying about this season. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all.
Okay.
A lot of this shit in this season didn't make sense, but that specifically didn't make sense to me because it's like, okay, we see her running to the door, and then they go blank, and it's just sitting there. Ain't no other sounds, no nothing. It's just that. So to me, I just felt like, nigga, that was it. They ate at the fucking diner. I don't think dude did nothing. I don't think he was a part of none of that shit. Only because remember, they're still trying to get Tony Soprano. Like the feds were trying to get Tony Soprano. Because throughout that season, they showed a lot more of the feds, you know what I'm saying, surveying them and doing all that shit. So I feel like with Phil, because Phil was that motherfucker was a ghost at some point in time. They couldn't get to him for shit.
Well, after he got out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just couldn't get to him. And the next thing you know, like he got Bobby killed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a bunch of shit was just happening with him. He was just getting people off. So I don't think none. I just think that they just went and ate.
So you think that they tried, as far as like cinematography wise, to make it look like the dude was suspicious, but he was just a regular fucking customer?
Absolutely. I think with that show, because of the way the you know what I'm saying, the way that everybody was so in love with that show, to end it any kind of way is going to be either a stain or a gold mark on that legacy. So to end it that way, you don't have to worry about none of that shit. You don't have to worry about people not liking it, not fucking with it, because we seen what happened with Game of Thrones. They ended Game of Thrones, and these niggas still talking about that shit to this day. So with Sopranos, it's pretty much left up to you. Either you want Tony to die or you want him to continue living. It's on you. It ain't nothing else. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no other thing for you to juggle. Like it's either you think you dead or you don't. They
I
actually
think,
leave it up to the, you know what I'm saying, the viewer.
and the reason why I personally think they left it up to the viewer, and this goes back to my most intriguing character on TV, is the fact of Tony Soprano. At the end of the day, depending on how you view life, as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But with him being a bad guy, you root for him.
Yeah.
You want, even though you like, man, he's cheating on Camilla, or he talked to his friends like shit, or or he's not being a good father, or whatever the case is. You always kind of end up rooting for him.
Because he
Like,
always
even,
end up doing some. Well, I feel like you do that anyway. Just the fact of when you first see him in this show, he's in therapy.
yeah, and then even after killed Christopher, even you said it. You like, yeah, but Christopher kind of deserved it. It's
Yeah, because
like,
why the fuck are you
even
gonna
though,
pick me up while you high?
yeah, but then not only that, like you kill your cousin, who you was super close with his fucking dad and shit, and
Mm-hmm.
you gave him chance after chance after chance after chance.
Absolutely.
But so when he kills him, even though, two things with that death. One, like you said, like him being high and all that type of shit, and Christopher should know better
Mm-hmm.
to do that in the first place. But then at the same time, he's suffering. Kind of like you see like a deer. You know what I mean? You see a deer suffering after you hit it. A lot of times, you kill the deer so it don't suffer. It
Nah,
could have
it
been,
wasn't the fact that he was suffering. It was the fact that motherfucker, you just crashed this fucking car and almost killed us. Then when he seen that baby seat fucked up, that's when it was like, yeah, I got to get this motherfucker out of here.
yeah,
I
like
need
you're
to.
gonna end up killing your baby.
Yeah,
So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even though he kills somebody, it's
it's
like,
necessary though.
that's what I'm saying. So I think they
Okay,
left it
okay.
up for.
Because you're making this point, this is a good place to ask this question. Well, how do you feel about Vito getting hit then?
The thing about Vito is, when you think about the time period.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what y'all got to understand is this is 99 to 2007. We're
Yeah,
not in this LGBTQ plus
right.
thing that we in now. This shit was in that time frame, and those type of people in the
Mm-hmm.
business they was in.
Yeah,
That shit was completely unacceptable. And
right.
if y'all, well, let me say what I'm saying. Maybe people haven't seen it. Vito was gay, and
Closeted
so
again.
closeted gay. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, the way they looked at that shit, they was like, yo, like, that is like, we don't do that. That's not acceptable. That ain't in our business. Like I said, that's another situation where they looked at people who were in therapy, they looked at them as weak. They
Mm-hmm.
looked at, I'm saying, people who were gay were weak, and and all this type of shit like that. But then also Vito took off for a while, completely left his family, and then everybody else had to kind of chip in to, to take care of the family and shit. But to take Vito out, because the way they look at it, like, if you're living two lives, like, but then, like I say, the way that they view people who were, what I'm saying, who were gay, were like, yo, you're probably easy to be flipped. Like, if the feds get a hold of you,
Yeah.
we feel like you're quote unquote weaker, and you're easier to be flipped into, giving all of us up.
So do you think it was necessary though?
I think I think that Vito there were some tendencies of Vito where I think that Vito would have snitched.
I'm gonna tell you why I agree with you, and I think it was
I,
very necessary for Vito to
yeah,
get the fuck out of there. The main one, remember when he was in that coma, because we just talked about it. When he was in that motherfucking coma, Vito was going around talking about, we got to find somebody who's next up. I mean, since I've lost the weight, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I should be the one. You know what I mean? Longevity. And he was talking about this other weird shit. When Bobby came back and was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? The skip is up. Like, he back. He conscious. Vito had that look on his face, and old boy he was talking to kind of looked at him like, yeah, motherfucker, something about you ain't right. Then, you know what I'm saying? He was doing a whole bunch of weird, sneaky shit. So remember, he kept trying to force Paulie to get the money to Carmela. And that at that time, when Tony had came back to, him and Paulie had dropped the money off to Carmela. And remember, Carmela was walking off and they was going back to the elevator. Carmela was about to go around the corner, and then she looked back and she seen them get on the elevator, and she seen the look on their faces when they got on that elevator, and she knew something was up. So I feel like Vito could have possibly not just flipped, he could have tried to do some shit to fucking to get Tony up out of there. Like if it would have been some shit to where they would have offered him some shit, like another family would have offered him some shit, he'd have definitely traded on Tony for sure.
but then but then at the same time, this dude is willing to just leave his family behind.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. He was a scumbag, bro. You can't
And
trust that. You can't trust that motherfucker, man.
yeah,
You
it
like
started a
the whole
whole.
gay shit aside. Like we could throw the gay shit out of there. Because to me that was just, you know what I'm saying, what it was. But just the way that he was being shown. Because remember, like when he was sitting in the house and he had called who the fuck did he call over there? I think it was Bobby. He called Bobby over there. Remember, he was eating the carrots, all mad and shit. You know what I'm saying? He called Bobby over there, and Bobby like, "Hey man, like nigga, you know these cuts, this shit ain't." No, that was Bobby was talking to Silvio. That's when Silvio went down. He was eating the carrots, and fucking damn, what happened? Somebody came to the house, and he was trying to set some shit up then. But yeah, Vito is I didn't like his character at all.
I tell you, the one thing that I really fuck with Tony and Bobby about is the fact of when they got into that fight when he was talking to his sister Greasy, and he fought him straight up. And
Yeah.
there's not a lot of movies where you see the bosses get into a fight where the other guy let the boss win. You see a lot of situations where they are playing chess
Mm-hmm.
or cards or anything, and it's like the
Mm-hmm.
boss always wins. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, Bobby went in on fucking Tony ass. Like,
Well,
that
you
was
got
a
to
pretty
remember, because
even fight.
in that moment, this ain't the mafia boss, nigga. This is my brother-in-law.
Yeah. Like,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
like,
saying?
dude, you talking to
And
your
Janice
sister
was a piece
crazy.
of shit.
Janice was a piece of shit. But Tony did talk to his sister reckless, though. Like, he used to fucking go in on his sister.
She
Now,
deserved everything. She should have got whacked.
Janice was a piece of shit. Like, Janice completely left her fucking son, like, in, like, Canada or some fucking shit like that. Like,
Nigga, she was trying to get her mom so she could get the money.
yeah,
Like
she was
this
trying to
shit
get
is
money out of
horrible.
mom,
She
out of
is
fucking
horrible.
Junior. Like, Janice was, first of all, Janice was about that paper.
Man,
Janice didn't give a fuck about nobody
that bitch
but the
was
paper.
easy.
That was the only reason why she wanted to keep Bobby kids in the end. I think she just wanted to get money out of them motherfuckers.
Because she knew
But
she knew that the family was gonna take care of them and hit her off.
exactly. But I'm just saying, like, it's still like a way of like I could never speak to my sister in any shape or form the way that Tony spoke to his sister.
If
You
your
know what I
sister was
mean?
like Janice, you could.
Man, I think I'll find another way. Like,
Nah,
I just
hell no.
wouldn't fuck with you. Like, it just,
You
I
gotta
don't know,
see this.
man.
What I'm saying, you gotta remember, bro. Like you gotta remember who they are and like the shit that they're around and what they, you know, what I'm saying, like the shit that they do. Yeah, nah, get Janice the fuck out of here, bro.
No, get his mom the fuck out of there. I was so happy
Her
when she
too.
died.
And the crazy part was she was just like her mama.
She was, dude. You wait till you watch Many Saints, dude.
I
Like,
can't wait, bro. I'm gonna
and
watch it as soon as we
did
get
you know
done.
who they got to play her mom in Many Saints? My God,
Who?
fucking Vera Farmiga, man. I'm like, why did y'all do this to me? I love Vera Farmiga, man. Why y'all make me hate this woman?
Yeah.
Why? I love Vera, but y'all gonna make her play Tony Soprano's mom? Like, come
Yeah, it's
on,
crazy.
man. I hate that character.
Yeah.
I hated her character. She was the biggest woe is me person ever. Like,
So was Janice.
I mean, Janice was too. Janice was too.
That's why I said she ended up being her mom. Remember, because when after Bobby died and they were sitting on the patio talking about,
Yeah,
she was like she was talking about
I gotta lose weight.
I did a thing with Sophia and we baked a lot and I built a relationship with. I'm like, man, I can't stand this motherfucker, bro. She went there and gave Uncle Junior that picture. She was like, yeah, Uncle Junior, and I don't care for Janice, bro. Janice could
I
have
didn't
got
care
hit
for
by a
Janice.
car and that would have been great.
Yeah, I never fought with Janice. I never fought with Janice or his mom. And I think that, when you think about the therapy that Tony was in, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? With, the relationship that they had with his mom, the relationship they had with his sister. The younger sister was fucking out of here.
Nah,
Like,
she was straight.
she only showed up when somebody died.
Yeah,
Like,
she was
you know what I'm
good.
saying? She had her own life. She didn't get involved in none of this fucking shit.
Exactly.
But like every other like female relationship in Tony's life, all fucked up.
Yeah.
Even the fine ass fucking mental case that he dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
who tried to fucking kill his ass. She threw what? Did she throw a knife in his ass or some shit?
Now she threw a
Uh,
plate in the nigga head.
yeah, and then
That
yeah,
shit was hilarious, man. That nigga said, "Bitch, you threw a whole fucking dish at my head."
wasn't
She
it
was
like
like,
roast beef or some fucking shit or
yeah,
something?
she made some shit and then she did not fuck with that nigga after that, bro.
Hey,
No,
but she
oh
was
girl
fine.
that got burnt up, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, I'm not laughing at her getting burnt up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm laughing at the fact that nigga after she healed up, nigga, she done went through everything, bro. This nigga came in and broke up with her, bro. She was in the background crying. This nigga had to take a phone call, bro. She was crying through that whole shit. That shit was funny as fuck to me, bro. She said, "What? You don't want me because I'm ugly now?" He was like, "No, no." He was like, "Bitch, get back with my wife. Like, what are you talking about? This don't got nothing to do with the fire." He was like, "I still would have been with you
Oh,
with the fire, but I'm just getting back with my wife. Shit is over."
man.
That shit was funny as fuck. That was wild ass timing though.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my goodness,
crazy,
that shit was
bro.
crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
But
But okay, last thing that we out here.
yeah.
Yo, do do you think, as fine as she was,
Mm-hmm.
the crazy girl, do you think he had to kill her?
Yes.
Okay.
What didn't she blame
She
like his
threatened.
no I'm saying didn't she blame like his ex or something for slashing tires or some shit like that? Like it
Yeah,
was
when she did this shit, like
yeah,
she
that's what I'm
fucking
saying.
gave
Like,
Camilla.
man,
She
you
sold
gotta
Camilla
get
a
her.
car and shit. She
Nigga
fucking
drove her
gave her
home.
a ride. Yeah, gave her a ride and
Nah,
all
we can't
types of
even play.
shit.
That ain't even the game we about to play. You out of here. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. You got to go. Cause you
yeah,
in too deep at this point. Cause who
yeah. And
next? Who next?
then she
Meadow?
threatened to
My son?
talk. Then she threatened to talk too. So
Come on,
yeah,
bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We gotta get her. Yeah, she had to go, bro. Don't care how
yeah.
fine you are. You're not about to ruin the shit that I got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, facts.
Yeah, so let's go ahead, man. Let's get into it, man. Fire Flames. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Yoga fire. Yoga flame.
All right, man. What you giving it?
All right, 5. What you got?
Damn. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I have to agree with you, man. 5 for them to put this type of in-depth show together. Um, and once again, I like I said, I think the show is genius because you don't understand. Like, if you just watching this on surface level, you think this is just like a crime mafia show, and that's not what this is. This once again, the show is about the Soprano family, and because it is about that, right? It's pretty much they have to show the shit going on in the mafia. They have to show him, you know what I'm saying, sleeping with everybody else, so you can understand why it's so many problems in his family and why it's so many problems not just in his actual family but the crime family, the Soprano crime family. And so um I think that's the show is so layered. That's what makes this show so great, because to be able to put all of this together and to have somebody like James Gandolfini put on this type of performance. You know what I'm saying? What's her name? Edie Falco. She does a great job playing Carmela. Like, for her to be able to play this role and to be the wife of this guy who's, you know what I'm saying, dealing with all of this shit. It was just great, man. Everything about this show was fantastic. I mean, me personally, I'm not really into like I don't really care for the Godfathers and the Goodfellas and all that shit. Casino is my joint, but like the rest of that shit, if it come on, I can watch it, but it's not something I'm gonna go to. This is one of them ones, like, if you want to just binge a show, I can go to it because it has so many layers to it. It's such a dynamic show. So yeah, I'm gonna agree 5.
That's what's up.
So let's do it, man. Coming soon.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to own on video and DVD.
All right, man. So the next one we got is the new rendition of Roadhouse. Be honest with you, I don't know what the fuck this is about. I don't know what this has to do with anything, but you know what I'm saying. You've been on my head about this today. You know what I'm saying. You like, hey man, we got to get on this Roadhouse. It's real good. My brother called me. He was on my head about it. He got mad at me because I haven't seen the first one. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see how this goes, and we'll let you know in the next episode, man.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it, man. I watched it. I watched it this past weekend. So
Okay.
yeah,
You
get a
fucked
kick
with
out of it.
it. We'll see you on the next episode then.
Yeah.
Man, listen, if you guys like The Sopranos, if you didn't like The Sopranos, if you two feel like Janice should have got hit by a car, that just Tony should have found a way to get her whacked. Maybe Bobby should have got her whacked. Hit us up, let us know in the socials, man. Instagram and Twitter at VO9Pod, on Facebook, VA Pod Watch Group. You can always comment on the episodes on YouTube. And listen, if you guys want to hear more, if you guys enjoy the show and you want to just hear us talk about some other things revolving around Hollywood and film and television, then sign up for our Patreon. The link is in the description. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and join up, man. We got some good stuff coming. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very interesting with these next few episodes that we got coming out. The last one was the JFK conspiracy. I felt like that was a great episode. So y'all go check that out. We got a bunch of other episodes in there. And if you want to follow me, hit me up on Twitter at Scoots Bronson. I got a link in my bio. You can find me everywhere else there.
Yeah, y'all can find me at S.Foster8 on Instagram and Twitter, X and TikTok, where y'all can find the videos. For some odd reason, our last video got flagged sound on TikTok on the JFK joint. I don't know why. But,
you thought I was playing. I told you, man. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you, man.
I mean, if y'all want to see the clip, it's still on YouTube and it's on Facebook. But for some odd reason, TikTok they flagged it when we talked to. I don't know if you know which one it is, because I put out 2. I did the one about the first ladies, and then the other one was about when you said, well, Secret Service heard a gunshot, and then they turned around and just shot, and I was like, yo, It was what we disagreed with. I was like, I don't see them
That's the
just
one that
turn
got
around
flagged?
and just shoot. Yeah, the sound was gone.
Yeah. of course.
So anyway, y'all can find clips and all types of shit like that there on the TikTok page. Y'all can at 28 minutes or less pod. You can find it on IG. Follow the podcast 28 minutes or less is on all major platforms. My guy Scoops jumped on with me, man. We had to get into the music world. We don't just talk movies. We got into this Drake, Future, Kendrick, J. Cole, Metro Boomin. I wish we would have got into the. We didn't really get into the raw shit, but I've been
that
hearing
was a
some
little
pods.
bit later too.
Yeah, it was a little bit later where the raw stuff ended up coming out. But anyway, we got into that whole little discussion. And we got into some Wale shit. Like we got into a lot of shit, man. A lot of music heavy. That was episode 149, if I'm not mistaken. I named it "The Heat Is On." You know what I'm saying? Scoots came on with me. I appreciate you for doing that.
No doubt.
And that's all I got, man.
Cool, man. I wish I had that fucking clip from The Incredibles, bro, where that nigga had the Mr. Incredible had to go to the school. No, I think it was Mrs. Incredible. She had to go to the school because that nigga Dash was putting tax on the teacher's chair, and that nigga was like, he's there and then he's not there. Coincidence? I think not. I wish I had that fucking clip, bro. When we was talking about that shit, getting silenced. I mean, getting muted. That video getting muted. That shit would have been perfect. But
So
hey,
we got a comment. We got a comment on the video about the first ladies, right? Where you said Hillary Clinton back then, you said she looked tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the comment says, "Blind or stupid?" Question mark. Hillary was a -2. All day, big ass glasses, bullshit attitude, ugly ass woman. This was from Southern Marine technology. Oh well, no, technician. Excuse me, technician.
Salute to you, sir. Salute to you, ma'am, or whoever you are. But yeah, I didn't say nothing about her intelligence. I was just saying she looked alright. You know what I'm saying? So respect though. I mean, I feel it. Do you know what I'm saying? You got every right to feel like, you know.
Hey, I just sent them 3 laugh emojis.
Yeah. I listen, if the first ladies was a roster, bro, that's not a good roster.
No, it's not.
It's not really a good. Not. It ain't too many decent first ladies. Granted, they older, but still, nah.
Yeah.
Like the top 3 is easily Michelle Obama, Trump wife. I forgot it was Ivanka.
Yeah, Ivanka.
Yeah, Ivanka, Trump, and Hillary Clinton easily.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they was calling Jackie O pretty though, compared to like all the other wives. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it makes sense, but no, she's not though. She don't
that's
got
hilarious.
Anyway, we're gonna quit talking about that shit for this one getting muted too. So, so listen, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching, man. You know what I'm saying? Your support is greatly appreciated. Remember, without you, there could be no us. And until the next episode, man, like they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.
Cut.